There is not even a speck of dust on our last Conspit wheel review, and already there's more. They are developing new products at an impressive rate, and today we're taking a look at their new 300 GT. It will be the most affordable Conspit steering wheel yet. As its name and shape suggests, it follows in the footsteps of the popular, affordable 300mm Moza KS and SimMagic Neo GT wheels. As a manufacturer, you simply need a wheel like this in your lineup, a good sweet spot. Conspit's approach with the 300 GT was to pack as many features as possible for sim racers into this design and create one of the most ergonomic wheels of its kind. Today, we'll find out if they've perfected the formula for formula-style sim racing wheels. Welcome back to Overtake. I'm Michel, and as it's often the case in sim racing, let's talk about money first. Everyone wants your money because you are wealthy sim racers. Conspit will offer the 300 GT at launch for €377, 399 US dollars, or 308 British pounds, with all figures excluding tax. It will be sold via their distributor network, which is listed on the Conspit website for each country. The price is slightly over $100 or euros more than the Moza and SimMagic models I mentioned in the intro, but a little less than the Azotec Forte Formula steering wheel, for example. Conspit also leans on third-party wheelbases and appeals to buyers who don't necessarily own a Conspit RS wheelbase. This becomes clear during the unboxing process. The 300 GT comes standard with 50 and 70mm adapter with a PC cable connection called QuickCon. If you have an RS or RS Platinum and want to attach the wheel, you will need to purchase a Conspit QR, which costs $89 US dollars or 99 euros extra. The same applies to users of other brands that offer a QR solution, such as Moza, SimMagic, Azotec, SimoCube, Logitech, and so on. Including taxes and the cost of the quick release, the total cost of the 300 GT is around 500 euros or US dollars. Ideally, and this will maybe happen, Conspit would offer a bundle that includes the 300 GT and an RS or RS Platinum with a pre-installed QR. You may have already noticed that the 300 GT has a few features that set it apart from the competition. First and foremost is the 2.99-inch integrated display, which we'll discuss in more detail shortly. While the Moza KS and SimMagic GT Neo imitate carbon structures on composite plastic front plates, this one actually has a 12-layer T300 carbon fiber front cover, material which is also used on satellites and race cars. The rest of the body is aluminum. This allows the 300 GT to maintain its weight despite the screen, and we have weighed it with the adapter as well with the Conspit QR. That's only around 1,250 to 1,350 grams, which always leads to great inertia and high rigidity. Yeah, it's incredibly sturdy, you won't be able to bend it at all. I think it's good that more and more manufacturers are prioritizing this. With the VPG Mustang wheel, I realized how much these factors affect the transmission of force feedback effects and the driving experience. Additionally, there's optional SimHub support, which allows the RGB buttons, LEDs, and encoders to be addressed with telemetry. Considering the elements mentioned, I think the value you get for the workmanship and features is more than okay. The packaging is also high quality, as is typical for Conspit. The sketch image is included again, as well as an easy to understand quick start guide. There are also plenty of stickers to label the buttons to their functions. The buttons leave nothing to be desired. You can tell that sim racers have worked on the product from practical experience. The front has 8 RGB buttons, 4 thumb encoders, 2 7-way switches, and 3 rotary encoders. The latter with each of them total of 36 individual position backlit indicators. These surprised me the most when I first attached the wheel. They look really crisp. There are also 12 RPM LEDs here at the top, and they are also crystal clear. However, the highlight is the Encoder Remap function, which significantly increases the number of mappable functions. The middle encoder defines up to 10 positions, which are then controlled via the inner thumb encoders here. This is where the screen also shines, as we can label these functions with 4 letters, left and right, that are briefly displayed when the position is changed, so you also won't forget what kind of function you have assigned. It's a simple and ingenious solution, especially useful in Le Mans Ultimate and when driving certain cars in iRacing, AMS2 or Assetto, because they can have a lot of mappable functions, including different TC settings, anti-roll bars, diffs, among others. Otherwise, there are 5 dash pages on the screen that you can switch using a button or encoder of your choice. I usually use the page that also shows tire pressure, ABS, TC and fuel. It would be great if there were an editor that allowed you to set the displayed values or designs yourself. The biggest benefit for me is really the visualization of the encoder remap. There was only one technical problem with our review sample. The outer thumb encoders sometimes didn't respond at all, or they skipped 2 steps with 1 click. Conspit is looking into this, and hopefully it won't happen with your production unit. The configuration of pressure points, rebound, and the buttons is quite good, even when wearing gloves. However, the 8 RGB buttons are quite loud when pressed, especially the upper inside ones if it matters to you. So you can hear it's kinda loud, and they are also all different kinda in their tone. And as with their other wheels, Conspit has positioned these buttons slightly farther out, a bit elevated, which I think is quite ergonomic. They are easier to feel, maybe also for VR users. The 7-way caps are also significantly larger than those of other wheels, which is also helpful when wearing, for example, thicker gloves. These grips come directly from the Conspit 290 GP and are made of TPU material, so they are quite hard, but you can feel like a slight softness to them. They are also very comfortable. I didn't notice anything negative while driving, which is important, and I think they are intended with the use of gloves indeed. Then we worked our way towards the rear, and I was particularly pleased with the 2 rear buttons. It's great to be able to use DRS and overtake on F125 without having to twist your fingers every time, because you need to use them quite often. Speaking of overtake, we also need your support. Liking, subscribing and hitting the bell help our YouTube channel a lot, and we would also be happy if you become regular visitors to our website. There is news, guides, a racing club, a forum, premium benefits with discount codes, giveaways and much more on overtake.gg. Snappy magnetic shift pedals are standard, of course, for Conspit, as is adding options for pressure to the SimRacer in their package. Strong magnets with 900 grams of force are standard, but you can also switch to 550 or 660 GF. In terms of volume, the shift pedals fall between the Moza KS and the Sim Magic wheel, the latter one being dampened the most. So they are not quiet. Since Conspit is sponsoring the Porsche Cup at iRacing this season, the 300 GT is no exception to having dual clutches. With clutch bite point and a little practice, every standing start should work, even in Formula 1. Let's briefly discuss the software part. You should use Conspit Link 2.0 because it's where you perform software updates, calibrate your clutches, and configure the encoder functions and colors. The software also controls the telemetry for the dash screens, which were not functional yet in F125. Patch should be coming for this if you saw the gameplay. If you want to use more data and functions, a SimHub profile is available for the 300 GT in the latest update. In Conspit Link, just activate SimHub mode under the lights and buttons tab. The biggest advantage is the accurate shift LEDs in SimHub, which always match the car that you are driving. This is so good, really. There are also many nice extras, such as red lights on the side buttons when a car is next to you. This applies to ghost cars at time trial as well, interestingly. If your car has ABS free, the number 3 on the encoder will light up that you mapped your ABS to. Also nice touch. The possibilities are extremely varied, and I'm not aware of any other wheel in this price segment that enables all these functions with mappable LEDs and stuff. If you know of any other ones, let me know. I'm always surprised to see how many options we have nowadays. Now let's talk about the score. It must be said quite clearly that Conspit is bringing an all-purpose weapon for sim racers to the market with high-end features. However, the price is not high-end. I rate it 4.25 out of 5, with the potential to go higher if the outer thumb encoders work reliably. It would also be nice to have the option of buying a version bundled with the Conspit QR, slightly discounted if you already have an RS on your rig. The display screen dashes could be a bit more modern in terms of design and fonts, and could offer more practical choices in terms of the data that is being displayed. Otherwise, this is another step forward for Conspit that will keep the competition up at night. Some of the competitors should take a closer look at what Conspit is delivering and at their pricing. In Germany we say großes Kino, great cinema. Thanks for watching, see you next time. Here's the link to our last Conspit review about their flagship, the Max 01. See you next time. Thank you, bye bye.